The power of love. And Reverend Temple always has my back. Yes, she does. Oh, it don't take money and it don't take fame to know the power of love. Focused on love. It's been a week when many people all around the country and even around the world are focused on love. Giving love. Cards, flowers, gifts, dates. Receiving love. Looking for love. Maybe sometimes in the wrong places. And maybe sometimes in the right places too. Recovering from love. Grieving a love lost. Wherever you find yourself in life, you probably gave more than a passing thought to love this week. It's the power of love. You may know you're loved. You may think you're loved. You may hope you're loved. And then do you love? Or do you think you love? But how do we get from I think to I know? It can be a journey. We're born loving, then we learn fear. We're born loving, then we learn prejudice. We're born loving, and then we learn judgment. We're born loving, and then we learn hate. It's a spiritual journey to get back to that pure place of love where we all began. Our Creator loves us unconditionally. You receive the breath of life from God, your Creator. You took in that life force energy with your first breath, that chi, and you accepted God's love. God loves you unconditionally. No matter any mistakes you may think you have made, any perceived mistakes you might have made anywhere on the journey, God loves you unconditionally. No matter that you feel unworthy, unlovable. That struck a chord with some. Unconditional love, it's a gift. Unconditional love, that is a gift, plain and simple. No strings attached. Love to be accepted and received into your heart. Come on. Give yourself that gift of self-love and accept it and receive that divine love into your life. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are lovable. I see that struck a chord, yeah. You are lovable. Some of you may be doubting it, but no, you are lovable. Knowing and affirming you are lovable and allowing love in your life is the greatest and most profound gift of truth you can ever give yourself. I have to tell you, I am privileged, honored, and humbled to serve this amazing community. I am truly grateful. Thank you. I am truly grateful for the leadership of Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes. Because right here in this sacred space, every week, she tells us and shows us that we are beloved. When we accept and know, truly know that we are beloved, we are empowered to show up in an abundance of love. You'll find yourself living each and every day to your highest potential, embracing those infinite opportunities and infinite possibilities, knowing you are truly favored, as we all truly are. Each one of us is favored of God, our Creator. That gives us a powerful boost of self-confidence and self-worth. I'm going to share with you a little personal story right now about my Papa Webb. My Papa Webb is my mom's dad. And he was a hard-working, loving man. He worked to support his 14 children and his wife. Yeah, I got a lot of cousins, y'all. Got a lot of cousins. Yes, I do. But Papa worked as a coal miner in the coal mines of southeastern Kentucky, West Virginia, and East Tennessee. He also worked as a carpenter. He worked however he could work, sometimes for a quarter a day, to support that family, to give them all that love. But Papa was injured working and had a spinal cord injury, and they said he'd never walk again. But he did. But he walked dragging his right leg. So his right foot and leg, he had to drag it behind him. But Papa was a proud man. He didn't like for people to necessarily see him in that handicapped way. So Papa would sit in his green armchair. And he'd generally be seated when you came in. You rarely saw him up moving around because he didn't like people seeing him that way. Papa sat in this green armchair, one of those armchairs, and each side of it was about that wide. You know, wide enough for a tall, skinny girl to just get up there and sit down. There's a perfect seat right there underneath my Papa's arm, right under his arm, right next to his heart. That was my seat. And all my cousins knew it, too. They knew that's Kimmy's seat. But I had a couple cousins who liked to say, you know, you're not the favorite. And that's cousins told me once, you know, when you're not here, I sit there with Papa. I said, well, that's okay as long as you're doing it when I'm not here. And I know some of y'all are watching online because I got 88 cousins. So some of them are watching. Y'all watching? Yeah, I'm talking about you. I am. Tell me about you. Mm-hmm. But Papa, so it was a great place to watch the whole family because 14 kids and 14 spouses and 88 first cousins. You know, it's a lot of people. But it's a great place sitting there with my Papa just watching the happenings around the house. And I'd whisper over to Papa and I said, but really, I am your favorite, aren't I? And Papa said, well, you know, Kimmy, I love all of y'all. I love all my grandchildren. Then he gave me that little wink. That wink said a lot. So when you truly know you are loved, it'll change your life. When you see yourself as beloved, as favored, as lovable, you'll step more boldly into your life. You'll step up and step into the life you're truly meant to live. We're all favored. We all receive that God wink, just like I received that wink from my Papa. Because without a doubt, I'm sure he gave every one of my cousins that same wink. And he made us all know we were favored and we were loved, just like God our Creator does. We are all favored. We are all loved. You might as well believe it because it is true. You are the one. You are the one that is loved. Go ahead, say it. I am loved. So what is the power of love? Huey Lewis in the news was singing about it. We were all dancing about it. The power of love. Don't you wonder? Well, now somebody yelled out and said, yeah. So thanks. I knew I couldn't be the only one wondering about that. The power of love. It's a force. It is that force that allows us to step up and step forward in confidence, in faith, believing in ourselves and something more, because that love gives us a centered place to go from. I know Reverend Temple has my back. God has all of our backs. Love, that's the force that allowed Harriet Tubman to have the determination and the courage to embark upon a solo journey all by herself to freedom. Then when she was free and clear of slavery, She then boldly said, I got to go back and get those I love. So she returned back to the very place where she had been enslaved to lead those she loved to freedom. She became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. That woman right there. And time again, she returned down south. She returned down south to escort many to freedom. They started putting placards up looking for this man called Moses. They said it must be a white abolitionist in blackface because no Negro could be smart enough to do what they were doing, let alone a woman. Nobody in their farthest reaches thought it was a woman. Sometimes she'd snatch them right out of the field while the overseer was watching, and he never had a clue. And she would take them to that new life of freedom. And what gave her the power to know she could do that? Because she knew she was favored of God. She knew it in her heart that she was favored, that God favored her. And that gave her the strength and the power to know that no man could stop her. She confronted and told her previous owner, the plantation owner, she said, it is not right for people to own other people. And it's not going to happen to me. So love, it is love that is that force that allows anyone and everyone to perform great feats of heroism and also those small, everyday expressions of kindness. So I'll close with this. Love, it is the healing force. We're born with love. We learn fear, prejudice, and hate. Let your journey center around releasing the fear and embracing the love. In the words of Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt, I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I ever need to know. Thank you.
I hope you like a good sandwich because between two ministers they put a preacher. So who's feeling loved? So do something for me. I want everybody to participate here. Take your arms and enfold yourself in your own arms. Feel the love. You know, enfoldment means to invite in, to love, to bring into your heart space, to accept, to feel good. Yeah, okay, that's enough loving now. All right. Every week we say the words here. The love of God enfolds us. You guys remember saying those words? The love of God enfolds me. What does that mean? It means that the love of God is enfolding, inviting. It's what I wanted. It's loving me. The love of God. The love of God is what appears in our life. Everything that I see, everything that I touch, everything that I hear, everything that I taste, everything that I even smell. It's all God. There's nothing else, and there's no other anything for it to be. It is God enfolding us, giving us His love, her love, its blessing, enfolding for us. Yeah. Now, there may be somebody here who is saying, wow, that blessing didn't feel all that good. That love could have been a little better. Yeah. That is unfolding and enfolding love to match our consciousness. that God there that is bringing it in love is also with us in our consciousness as law. That says that what we hold in our consciousness is going to show up in our world. It is law. It cannot be any other thing. There is nothing else. In fact, bear in mind what I'm saying is that your consciousness is God. There is no other God. Your consciousness, you're enfolding, what you are enfolding for yourself in your consciousness, what you are saying, I love, I accept, this is mine, I'm thrilled about this, I'm excited about this, is going to show up in your world. But if you're sitting there with limited beliefs, with judgments, with labels that are less than that, guess what? That's what is enfolding God's love to give you the kingdom as you believe. So believe better. Believe higher. Have a higher love for yourself. Have a better love for yourself. You know, release all of this stuff. That's what these people did, every one of them. We celebrate them. Martin Luther King. I grew up in Alabama in 1960. 60s. Martin Luther King. He didn't put his finger on the problem, and that's what limits you, because you got your finger on the problem. Healing starts when you take your finger off the problem and you put it on the solution. Then healing is there. Martin Luther King never says, oh, this is a terrible table. He said, no, I dream, I envision, I got an imagination here, and I am imagining a table where all men sit as equals. That's the solution. That's the higher love. Rosa Parks said, I imagine that we got a bus here that anybody can sit where they want to. We move into higher power. We move into higher love. And God will unfold it and enfold that love to you. Because after we say the love of God is enfolding us, what do we say? I am the love. I am the love. So guess who is the power of love? I. So power it. Love is like a most wonderful vehicle car sitting out in your driveway. It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's everything you want, but it is nothing until you get into it and drive it. Mm-hmm. Your consciousness is everything. Your consciousness is unlimited. With God, all things are possible. With your consciousness, all things are possible. There is no limits. You don't have to limit yourself. That is all yours. Let go of that story. You're not here to tell a story. You're not here to tell a story. I tell everybody that. They get tired of me telling them, you're not here to tell a story. No, you're here to write a story. And in order to write a story, you want to write a story you're excited about. You want to write a story that's in that higher consciousness that's up there, that is better than the one that we have been that we didn't like. Choose better. Grow. Write a story that you're excited about, that you're thrilled about, that you want to live. You know, I do that in my relationship. I just go into consciousness. Mother Teresa said, it's not ever about you and them, and it's never about you and her or you and him. It's always about you and God. And when you solve it in God, when you get the solution in God, it will unfold and enfold you in the love of God.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that such like me. I once was lost, but now You know, I played the guitar and I sang Amazing Grace at my grandmother's funeral. And I played my guitar and I sang Amazing Grace at my grandfather's funeral. And I was a teenager and had difficulty singing that song because for some reason it left me with a sense of feeling disconnected somehow. More than likely, it was probably because I had to say I was wretched, that I had to own that I was some kind of destiny for unhappiness or to be a victim of some kind of outcome. And so I somewhat, if you will, I love the tune, and I know there's so many places in the world you could go and hear that, but there would be something just stirring in my gut, you know what I mean? And so I thought, instead of just always finding myself here, let me write a new story about this song. So I researched the song. And that is when I discovered the real meaning of the song. You see, it was used in traditional Christianity to keep people held down. To keep people held down. To be shamed, to keep telling you that you're a sin and you're nothing and you're low life and you're this and who even knows how you get through. And that kind of space that, yes, in 2020 people are still being taught, and surprisingly people are still sitting there and listening, okay? But that being said, when I researched the song, I realized it was about a ship captain that had not questioned his beliefs, that had said, well, this is how my father was and my grandfather and those people in that generation, and I'm going to do the same thing. And so my dad brought slaves into America, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And fortunately, he had a near-death experience, which gave him a real-life experience, which brought him into a divine awakening. And that is why he said, I've been saved. I was a victim. I wasn't using my own mind. I wasn't letting my heart guide me. This isn't what I want to do. There's something wrong with this. And so there he went on to say, I can see now. I was lost and now I'm found. Say that with me. And now I'm found. And I love that we honor Black History Month, because if you have any ounce of prejudice still in you, let it fade away. Let it fade away. Let it fade away. Let it fade away. Don't tell people you're unity if you only like people that look and act like you. Don't give us a bad rap. You understand what I'm saying? Love wasn't put in your heart to stay. Isn't that what the poet said? It's only love if you're willing to give it away. You see, if you're willing to be in that space, it's not about look alike and act alike and be alike. It's about really embracing the indifference. When you love yourself, really love yourself, you don't gossip. When you really love yourself, you don't talk about other people. When you really love yourself, you're not into false power. When you really love yourself, you're not built on reactiveness, and you're not on Twitter fighting with somebody. You are holding a space because you think too much of yourself. And you don't stay at the level of recovery and feeling wretched. You are at a place of discovery, of really learning about the love that you've yet to know. To me, that's what excites me, is that I want to see the love that I've yet to experience. And you see, the whole point of it is that you can freely love. You don't have to be concerned with what people are saying about you. That's their karma. What you say about yourself is your karma. And so it brings you, you see, into a whole different playing field. Are you with me? And so the person you are needing to save is you. It's you. Because only to the level that you love yourself is the equal level that you will believe that anything or anyone else will ever love you. And that's just the way, that is the law that is always working in your life. You understand? Because when you love yourself, you don't assume that the traffic was put out there just for you to get in your way. Give me a break. You don't assume that the whole world is in your way. You say to the world, I'm paving my way. I'm paving my way. And having been raised the way I was, which I no longer blame my parents because I'm a shy bit over 30, you probably know, because it's on Wikipedia, that's how you know, I'm sure. But that being said, I was trained, like so many, if things are going well and I got a raise, oh, God loves me. If things weren't going so well, God didn't love me. If my parents question, is that a girlfriend or a boyfriend or you know what, God loves me or God doesn't love me. It depends on the judgment coming my way, right? But as I went through shamanism and I went on a retreat one weekend, I went into an inner vision. And so on the visual realm, there were like elders that, walked me up on a hill. And they took both of my hands, and they had the branding tool there. And they branded into the palm of both of my hands a heart. And they said to me, you are branded now. You are love. And you will never question that again. So how powerful it was for me some 12, 13 years later that I'm in Peru. And I'm working with the elders there and the shamans. And they have these walking sticks. And they had this one walking stick that was a hand. And in the palm of that hand, yes, it was, there was a heart. You can't make this stuff up because it's all around you. The signs are there. The space and the energy is there, you see. And so the power of love is understanding that the power is in you. And you build that self-esteem. So when somebody says, you look great, you go, thank you for noticing. When somebody says, you're different, you go, thank you for noticing. Somebody says, you're a trip, thank you for noticing. You're a little crazy, thank you for noticing. Oh my God, because you are in this space. If you believe God loves you, please have self-esteem, because they don't go together if you're not practicing. That you are here is the power of love. You understand that? Right. I had the good privilege yesterday in Odessa, so close to Georgia, Odessa. I did a memorial, and it was a woman had died young from cancer. And the couple, they favored in Love First Unity because exactly 5 years ago on Valentine's Day weekend, we opened our doors to anyone that wanted to get married at no cost, because our city, our state, had glorified and legalized gay marriage. And so we said, we are inclusive, come one, come all, and come and join this. And we had like 80 people here. And we had so many amazing people, and Sam and Laura came in their tux and their prom dress, and they got married. And to the moment and to the day, as long as I live, I will remember this man walking up the aisle with his cane, pushing his wife on the wheelchair, and they were celebrating 76 years of marriage. And he said, I came today to support the power of love. Now that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And that's what love does. There's no generation differences. There's no color differences. There's no sexual differences. There's really no differences because we're coming from the core, you see. And they told this story of how this woman was an artist and how she shared and would teach her students about the power of the crayons in the crayon box. That duly noted, there's more than one color there. How boring would it be if everything that was painted by art only went with one color? And how all the colors are necessary and how they complement each other, or how white is considered really a no color, but it makes all the rest of the colors stand out, you see. But all the colors of the crayon box are necessary to create the richness and the beauty of life, just like all of you. Our divine crayon box. Thank you for your willingness to play. God bless you. Thank you.